Hi everyone, this is the general reading for March 2019 for Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, also for Taurus Crosswatchers. Hello there. This is a general reading, and it should go without saying that not all of these messages are not going to apply to you. I like to think of these general readings like watching a movie where there's a lot of different storylines and characters. Some of them may resonate or be metaphors for characters or plots in your own life, but it may not be the clearest translation, or it may not resonate for you. Some of this information may actually be meant for someone in your life and not meant for you at all, so keep that in mind as well. As I was tuning into your energy, Taurus, I was feeling very wobbly. Things felt kind of shaky. Not shaky, wobbly. And my solar plexus was actually hurting, and it still does, by the way. So thank you for that. This is like an empathic connection that we're having right now. But what that's really telling me is that you may be going through a big shift with your ego or identity, and that actually makes a lot of sense when I was thinking about it, because you do have Uranus going into your sign, back into your sign, this month in March. It went retrograde last year, I want to say August? I'm sorry, I'm bad with this. And it did go back into Aries for a little bit, but it is now going to be headed back into Taurus. And for those of you who aren't aware, Uranus is an outer planet, so that means it moves very slowly. I believe it's going to be in your sign until 2027. So that's a long time to have something in a sign. And when those outer planets make a change, when they transit into another sign, those influences are usually felt by a lot of people. But if you are a native to that sign, especially depending on where your actual planets are, it could really have a heavy impact on your life. And Uranus is kind of notorious for shaking things up. It is very Aquarian in nature, so it's very much a revolutionary. It's always reinventing things. It has a unique vision. And so for your own life, I think you're going to be entering into a cycle where you're really redefining yourself and really going into a very exciting and new chapter. But that can be very unsettling for you guys, especially with Taurus, which is a very stable sign, or they're very much stability seeking. I was also shuffling some cards for you too. I got Two of Pentacles in reverse, which again to me kind of indicated that wobbliness. There may be some financial uncertainty for some of you right now. There may be this sense of juggling a lot of things and being afraid that it's all going to fall apart. You do, however, have the Emperor that came out for you as well during that pre-shuffle. That's interesting because it's almost the opposite energy. Emperor is someone who's very contained, very wealthy in many ways, and someone who's very much in their power. And if it's resonating for you that you feel uncertain about your future, you feel uncertain about things, that is, to me, indicating that it's ultimately going to serve you, even if it's uncomfortable now. We do also have a Mercury retrograde coming up as well, so that is gonna add to a lot of complications this month, I think, for you guys. I mean, for all of us, but especially for Taurus. Things may be delayed. And I also want to mention, because Emperor does indicate Aries, there was that recent transit from Chiron back into Aries. It was also retrograde, and now it's back into Aries, and it's also going to be there for several years. So I wonder, wherever, it may be useful for you to look where that Chiron is transiting in your chart right now. If you're not sure how to do that, I have a link down below that will show you your natal chart, and you can kind of figure out where that transit is occurring in your chart. I do also know that astro.com, when you do the chart selection, you can actually include transits, and it will show your natal placements as well as the current transits in your chart. Sorry if this is all like info dumpy. I know this is a lot, but I was just pulling a lot of information for you. And finally, I actually got one more card that fell out, and it was actually from the animal deck, and it was Moth. which again tells me that there is this metamorphosis going on for Taurus. And moth is not always a nice, easy transformation. It can be accompanied with a dark night of the soul. I'm also going to shamelessly plug my Instagram for a minute here. I do bi-weekly spreads and general cards, and the most recent general card reading was actually Moth. So if you haven't read that, I highly recommend that you go to my Instagram and look at that post I did for Moth, because I think it will definitely resonate with a lot of you. And even if you've read it, reread it again, because it seems like that message is coming really strongly for you right now. There may be some of you who are kind of more entering the cocoon, and there may be some of you who are entering, or who are emerging back into the world after this time of transition. It's usually, it can feel a bit lonesome of a transformation, and it's not always easy. But Moth has a lot of silent strength. So you do have more power than you think you do. You do have that Emperor with you after all as well. So, without further ado, how about we start shuffling some cards here and see what comes out for you. I just want to take a peek. I always start these readings off by kind of looking at the past energy, see what we're leaving behind, what's having an influence on this month. What are the messages for Taurus for March 2019? What are the messages for Taurus for March 2019? One more. Sorry. Okay, so you have the King of Swords, the Chariot, and the Six of Wands in reverse. Now remember, this is kind of coming into this month. This could be for February, but because of the Mercury retrograde, I am hesitant to get too specific with time. I feel like Mercury retrograde can make things kind of wonky with time. So the way all of this is playing out may be different in your own life. But with this King of Swords here in the physical part of the read, this is also your daily life. This could be someone you're working with. This King of Swords is someone who is very authoritative with their word. This could either be you or it could be someone else. This person can be a bit rash. They can make very swift judgments, but they do have a strong logical mind. They are very analytical with the way they approach things. This could indicate an air sign that you are close with. It could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But it seems like a lot of you are just really... It seems like you are sort of stepping into your power here, stepping into your authority. I'm almost inclined to think that this is you, Taurus. You do also have this Chariot at the heart of kind of coming into this month, the heart of this past. And the Chariot to me means a lot of forward movement. So again, kind of tying in with that King of Swords, making judgment calls, going towards something. This card actually does represent Cancer as well. I don't know why, because it does not seem like a Cancer card to me at all. But besides that, you may be dealing with a Cancer as well. So either an air sign or Cancer who is close to your heart. You may be having feels for a Cancer. But I'm honestly seeing this more as you stepping towards something, moving towards something. You're really trying to make a new life for yourself. With the Six of Wands here, kind of in your mental sphere, I am feeling like you are struggling with moving forward a little bit. You may feel a bit defeated. You may feel like whatever victory you had was very short-lived, and you may actually now be trying to figure out what sort of direction it is you're trying to go into. I am curious to see what animal you're going to be getting for this past energy here. You actually got Peacock, which is interesting. I think Gemini, yeah, Gemini just got this card as well. Why I think that's interesting is, well, this is the solar plexus, or this is the sacral chakra. They kind of rule more over digestion, but I was having that stomach ache earlier, as I said. So it seems like there might be some digestive issues for a lot of you, or there have been. Maybe you've been so nervous and analytical, you've been so in your mind that it's actually reflecting in your body as this sort of digestive problem. A lot of people don't realize that our digestive system, especially our intestines, are very sensitive to our anxieties. Interesting. But I also see this as you. This is definitely a card of self-expression, of really putting yourself out there. I do see you stepping forward in the Chariot, and I do see you stepping into yourself with the King of Swords. So it doesn't surprise me that you got this card. But it does, I do have to wonder if some of you are struggling with digestive stuff, or if you have been, or if there's a situation or something that you're having a hard time digesting or processing. Overall, though, it actually looks like things have been pretty good. You might be kind of in a mental battle, but in terms of your daily life and even emotionally, I do see you trying to move forward. Let's kind of take a peek now at March and see where all of this is headed. Ooh. Okay. One more. Interesting. So all of these cards actually came out in pairs. You have the Ace of Wands that came out with the Page of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles with the Four of Cups, both of them reversed, and then you have the Ace of Cups and the World card. So again, I see a lot of you really stepping into your power at the start of March. There may actually be some sort of conflict, especially if someone was offering you something and they weren't able to deliver. With this Page of Pentacles in reversed, I would be very careful of signing contracts or solidifying plans. I think you're going to want to take some time before you decide to make the next move, even though you do have this Chariot in the past. I actually am seeing at the bottom of the deck here as well, there is the Tower. It's not in the actual reading itself, but there may be the sense of things crumbling down, walls may be coming down. It is also, that is also an Aries or Scorpio card too. I know Aries came up in the pre-shuffle with the Emperor. This Page of Pentacles could actually also be you. It does usually indicate earth signs, so it could be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. With it being in reverse, I think that this person is still very young. They're very much a student in a lot of ways, and I think there's a lot that they still need to learn, potentially about money. I do also see with this Nine of Pentacles and Four of Cups in reverse at the heart of this reading, some of you may be stepping out of kind of this single life. You may be feeling more inclined to socialize. It could also be kind of walking away from some stability or some source of income, or even a home, something that was once very stable. It doesn't feel like it's serving you anymore. But then you have this Four of Cups, and it seems like you're so focused on what it was that you have lost here. You know, you're so focused on these Three of Cups that you don't see this new opportunity that the universe is handing to you, literally being handed to you. And I think you're just more focused on this loss here, whatever this Nine of Pentacles in reverse is signifying for you. Very interesting. You might be turning down an offer, actually, and I was kind of getting that with the Page of Pentacles in reverse. A lot of you are turning down offers at the start of March. A lot of you are being a bit fixated on something else. I do see, with this Ace of Cups and the World, it seems like there's going to be some pretty productive conversations, actually. There's going to be potentially a love offering that's going to be coming through, or some sort of commitment, some sort of advancement in relationship that may be coming up. And this has fixed energy to it, so that could be with a Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, or what's the other fixed sign? Aquarius. Yeah, so you may be getting a love offering from one of those signs, and it's looking pretty promising. Despite everything else that's going on in your personal life, you almost might be closed off to that a little bit because your life feels a bit out of whack. But it seems like whatever conversation, you're going to be having a very important discussion at the start of March, or in March somewhere. And it's going to represent kind of the closing of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. There may also be talk or plans of travel, especially world travel, travel abroad. Some of you may be doing that. That could also be this Ace of Wands that you have as well. Just some new beginning, some sort of new prospect. Interesting. Yeah, you have a lot of aces. You have 2 aces, so there's lots of offers coming in for you for March, which is exciting. Let me just pull another animal card here as well. Interesting. Ah, so you got 2. And guess who decided to show up again? We have Moth. Again, as I was saying, there is still a lot of transition that is happening. I think this is kind of referencing and emerging from the cocoon. And there is also this wolf card as well, which has to do with pack. That could be either your family, your friends, your soul family. Whatever pack means to you, it seems like that's going to be a really big theme for the start of March. Yeah, I see you really kind of stepping out into the world. You're kind of leaving your personal garden here, this beautiful garden that you've cultivated. You're now leaving, and I think you're really extending yourself to find this pack, to find these family members, or to reconnect with these people. Beautiful. Very nice. It seems like whatever it is that you are feeling internally, it's not really affecting so much of the world around you, at least at the beginning of March. I am curious to see what we're going to be getting more towards the end, as well as the influences that may be stretching beyond into April or even further out. Especially with this retrograde, sometimes things take a little while to manifest, and only after it goes direct do all of these changes actually become evident. It's like, oh, that's what happened during this retrograde. I've miscommunicated with people this whole time, and I was operating under this false assumption. That's interesting. Oh, interesting that I said that. We have the moon in reverse towards the end of this month. This is in a very physical way, so this is kind of coming out of a period of delusion or illusion or mystery. Whatever hardship that you are dealing with, or whatever thing you might have thought you lost, it may not have been the case at all. So do be aware that there is kind of some trickster energy coming your way, and it may not be apparent until the end of the month. With this Four of Wands reversed, however, I am wondering if the sort of beautiful offering or beautiful connection that you had established before, there might be some reality attached to it that's going to become apparent later, or it might not be what it seems. So do stay guarded here, especially with this Three of Swords in reverse as well. This could kind of be The way I'm feeling into this specific card for this reading is that there might be some minor heartbreak. It's not as intense as the Three of Swords upright. You might also be recovering from some sort of disappointment or breakup or some sort of separation as well. I do see that may be kind of an influence for you throughout this month and perhaps into April or further out. But it seems like you're really kind of putting things to rest. I don't think this is too bad. I'm actually going to pull an animal card. I kind of want to clarify with that. We just need one more animal card. Let's see. And now they don't want to fess up here. Interesting. So we have the camel and we have the sea serpent. So with this camel card, I was actually talking about travel. Camel can also indicate faraway travels to faraway lands. And it may be kind of like a pilgrimage for you. That may be something that you're kind of thinking by the end of the month may be beneficial to you. Perhaps this Four of Wands is walking away from something or someone that once made you happy, but I see you moving towards something else and really seeking something outside of that. And that makes a lot of sense with Uranus going into your sign. You may be really looking to broaden your horizons. You're really looking to expand yourself, and travel can be a really beneficial way to do that, especially when this card comes as well. If you already do have travel plans for the end of March or even April, I would consider this a good sign. It's a thumbs up from the universe. It seems like you will be protected. You will have a significant and beneficial journey and travel. So congratulations for those of you who that applies to. We do also have Sea Serpent as well. This is also about shedding. This actually does preside over the sacral chakra. So again, this is coming up a lot. The solar plexus and sacral chakras have been really prevalent for you. That's kind of what I'm feeling. This is a card that I think what this is telling me is that you need to express this heartbreak, and you are probably going to be doing this by the end of the month. Or someone will be communicating that to you. Someone is going to be communicating hurt feelings. And I think it's actually really beneficial. This is a nice card. It's nice to imagine that this sea serpent is just wrapping itself around you and embracing you no matter what phase of your life you're in. I do see if some of you are thinking about fertility or like having children, this is usually a good indication of motherhood. It could also represent your own mother. I think this is just going to be a really creative time for you as well. Getting back in touch with your creativity is going to be very, very helpful. And this faraway land may be a fantasy land. It may be a story or something like that that will help you creatively. And I think that's all I am getting for you. I'm just going to do one more scan here. I actually want to clarify this Four of Wands in reverse. This seems interesting. That's kind of how you're leaving off this month. Here we go. Too many. There we go. I see now. Okay, so you have the Two of Swords and the Six of Cups both in reverse. So I think what this Four of Wands is telling me is there is some sort of offering from someone in the past. It could even be from childhood. It could be from someone from your childhood. It seems like your heart is very guarded to this possibility. Whatever this Four of Wands or Six of Cups represents to you, it seems like it's being blocked off by you being too guarded. You're being a bit secretive right now, and I don't even know. It almost feels like that's why the cards aren't giving me a lot of information here. It seems like there is something that you're being cut off to as well. And I think that's going to become more clear what that may be by the end of the month. Um, I think some of you may need to work on doing some inner child work or healing the inner child. There may be some benefit from seeing a therapist as well. Because this can often indicate kind of childhood wounds or childhood trauma, things that are preventing us from going forward in our life, because this is in the emotional part of the reading, and it started off with this Chariot. You had this energy, and now it seems like coming into March you're stagnating again, and that could be due to the retrograde. You might just be slowed down, and that's fine. Sometimes you need to kind of take a break. Sometimes you can't just rush into the things you want, but it seems like even towards the end of the month, even towards this retrograde, you're still going to be guarded. So I think really reflecting here, really focusing on healing work, kind of taking the blindfold off, really seeing yourself as you are, will be really, really beneficial, because I think it's going to help you in the long run, and that's going to kind of be a theme playing out for the next few months for you. And that is all that I have for you. If this video resonated, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Also, feel free to share your experiences in the comments section down below. I am still starting out, so your feedback is very appreciated. Otherwise, I will see you next month. Bye, Taurus.